Story of a monad. Up, up, up. There in the steep and silent heaven, there shines a radiant sun, more glorious than even a seraph might tell. Its essence is not matter, but spirit, and from its surface there goes forth three kinds of light, the one in rays, another in waves. Condensed, the former becomes matter, and the latter is the ocean in which it is upborne, in which the worlds are floating, and in which all things have a being. Aye, all things ride upon the billows of this infinite sea, even as the shallop or the eggshell sail upon tiny wavelets of a lake. The third substance given off from this great sun goes forth in coruscations. The first kind of light proceeds from the surface, the second from the interior, the third from the very heart of the infinite center of God's body, his spirit, and his soul. The first is pure fire, and the second pure life. The third is the sea of the monads. Every scintilla of that which proceeds from the soul of the sun, like that which proceeds from the human brain in action, is a thought, shot out in the vast expanse, but destined to return by another pathway, not direct, but circuitous and spiral. Well, says this voice speaking from within to the philosopher who is listening to the revelation, I was one of these monads, and found myself enveloped in a myriad folds and firmly embedded in a granite rock, where I remained shut up for long ages, pinning constantly for deliverance from the thraldom. Even then I found my monad heart pulsating with a divine life, and ardently longed to celebrate the knowledge, for I knew I came from deity, and longed for my return. My first recollections are of a fiery character, for my dwelling was in the very nucleus of a comet that had just been whirled into being. How? I cannot now stop to explain. Only this will I say. With me there were myriads of others, for in every molecule of spiritual and material substance was embedded one of my brethren, all longing to escape the return to his heart of God, whence we had been set forth to perfect his great design. The comet cooled, became a world, and finally an earthquake threw the block of granite, wherein was I, to the surface. And by, after waiting many ages, I found room to move, and did so. The result was that we, the other monads and myself, changed our outer shells into moss. The moss died and left us free to try what further we could do, for be it known that our forces had not yet fairly been called into action. The next change was a higher one, and afforded scope for the display of a higher order of power. This time I became a plant, and the next time a plant of a higher character, at each epoch losing one coat, until at last I could be a plant no longer, and so was forced by a law within as well as laws without myself to become a center of an animal. And so I ran the gamut of change through countless ages. Every new condition being more and more favorable brought out new properties from within me and displayed new beauties to the sun's bright eye. I was still a monad, and will ever be such in one sense, albeit time, after reaching my human form, will be of no account, only states. Something whispered me that I should ever advance toward but never reach perfection. I felt that, monad though I was, yet at my heart, my core, my very center, I was the germ of an immortal human soul, and that soul itself was destined, after its material career was ended, to throw off form after form, just as I had all along the ages. And thus I passed through countless changes, exhibited a million characteristics, until, at last, I, who had the first worn a body of fire, then of granite, then of moss, now put on a higher and nobler dress, and became for me the first time self-conscious, intelligent, and in a degree intuitive both as the past, the present, and the future. And all these infinite changes were effected by throwing off, in regular order, just as material suns throw off ring after ring, which in turn resolve themselves into planet after planet. During all these transmigrations my monad body was active, my monad soul quiescent, but ripening all the while, first in plant, then in lower and higher forms of fish, reptile, bird, beast, and mammal, quadruped, and bimammal. Thus I had reached the most distant prophecy of what I was hereafter to become, and, as it may interest you to learn the steps by which I ascended from the pre-human to the very human, I will recount them in general. The list is, therefore, as follows. The first approach to man was when I found myself successfully animating as a central life point the forms of Semi, Satyri, Troglodyte, the gibbons, hylobates, and cynocephaly, passing through the specific forms of Coluga, Bancataricir, Maholi, Lemur, Loris, Diadema, Indras, Marikina, Marmoset, Dorisocoli, Samari, Yarke, Sakai, Kuzayo, Kakajo, Sajo, Sakajo, Araquato, Merikai, Kolatai, Marimandai, Charnek, Drill, Mandrill, Chukma, or Baboon, Wanderu, Bunder, Tug, Mona, Quesega, Kolubai, Bodog, Intellus, Kaha, developing the human nose, Gibbon, Siamang, the hylobates, Orangs, Chimpanzee, Gorilla, Nishiego, Troglodyte, Kulu, Kamba, Barabeta, Aitzkromba, Hamaka, Troglodyte of Mount Degaro, Neg, Bosjesman, Hottentot, Negro, Malay, Kanaka, Digger, Indian, Tartar, Chinese, Hindus, Persians, Arabian, Greek, Turk, German, Gaul, Britain, and finally American.